Good morning. This time is now 10:01. I'm Paulo Robertson, Chair of the Social Equity Council. And at this time, I'd like to call our meeting to order and welcome the public, our council members, and all our state agencies, licensees, and applicants, and all those that support the SEC. This morning, I also like to welcome CTN that's joining us. As a council, we continue to work and make reinvestments in those communities hardest hit by the war on drugs. And we welcome all of our, we welcome to our meeting of the Social Equity Council, all of you. And at this time, I'd like to go into taking attendance. So let's start with Corey Betts. Andrea Comer.
Present.
Thank you. Avery Gaddis. Sabera Gordon.
Present.
Andrea Hawkins.
Present.
Thank you. Michael Jefferson.
Present.
Thank you. Daniel Karpowitz.
Present.
Thank you. Melvin Medina.
Present.
Thank you. Ojala Naeem.
Present.
Edwin Shirley.
Present.
Shirley Skyers Thomas.
Present.
Kelly Marie Valeries. And Kevin Walton.
Present.
Thank you. At this time, we have a quorum, and we'll also have our executive director, Jenny Clay, and several members of our RSC staff as well joining us, and we'd like to thank you all for joining our meeting.
Mr. Chair, just
yes.
Wanted to flag Councilman Betts has joined.
Oh, thank you, Councilman Comer.
Thank you.
Great, thank you again. Let's see. Again, thank you for Executive Director Clay and staff for joining us. And thank you all for joining the meeting. At this time, I'd like to move for approval of our March 5th, 2024 SEC meetings. First business item is for approval of the minutes, and they were distributed to council members in advance of the meeting. So may I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 5th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The minutes are approved. At this time, we have executive session on pending litigation. And at this time, we'll enter executive session to discuss pending litigation. I may have a motion to move to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We'll move to executive session, and the members have received a Teams link for the executive session. Members have the option of either leaving the Zoom meeting or logging back in on and after the executive session or muting this Zoom meeting and opening the link for Teams. For the members of the public, we'll return shortly, and we thank you for your patience. Great, thanks. Thank you. At this time, we have returned from executive session. I'll once again take attendance to ensure that we have a quorum. Corey Betts.
Present.
Thank you. Andrea Comer.
Present.
Avery Gaddis. Sabira Gordon.
Present.
I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm here, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Avery Gaddis. Sabira Gordon.
Present.
Andrea Hawkins. Michael Jefferson.
Present.
Thank you. Daniel Karpowitz.
Present.
Thank you. Melvin Medina.
Present.
Ojala Naeem.
Present.
Edwin Shirley.
Present.
Thank you. Shirley Skyers Thomas.
Present.
Kelly Marie Valeries. Kevin Walton.
Present.
Kelly Marie Valerie says that she will be joining us and sent a note to say that she's running a tad behind. But so far we do thank you, and we have a quorum. So at this time, we'd next like to consider a vote on social equity venture application recommendations. Executive Director Clay, are there any comments or recommendations to the council at this time before I go through the denials?
There are no comments at this time, sir. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So for denials, we have one application recommended for denial, which is ACRE Acre 0015684 Green Acres CT1 LLC. May I have a motion to deny the application?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion to be denied, the application has been approved. For the next item, I'd like to invite the Executive Director Clay to present her report. So Executive Director Clay, you have the floor. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. The report. The Social Equity Council has a new look, and I'd like to say rest in peace and thank you very much for our former logo. We will be moving away from these colors, and we will be moving away from this logo over the next couple of months. And so I would like to introduce, and we'll go to the next slide, please. So the state of Connecticut, including the Social Equity Council, is in the process of rebranding. So this is pretty much the color scheme, and you will see that the Connecticut, along with a C, is incorporated into the new Social Equity Council logo and our new look. And it is going on throughout the entire state, including state agencies, other boards, commissions, and councils. So welcome. The next slide, please. Today, I'm going to be giving you staffing updates, program updates, what's new with the council, and our April goals. On our staffing updates, our legal program director position has been posted. It closes on April 8th, and we will immediately begin to go through the applications that are submitted to narrow down a manageable number for interviewing. The same thing with the research analyst. That position closed on April 1st, which was yesterday. And now Talent Search will be going through the received applications and narrowing it down to a manageable number of folks that we're going to be interviewing. Program manager also closed on February 26th. We received over 150 applications. Right now, Talent Search has whittled that down to 60, and they're looking to go through another review of those 60 applications and narrow it down to a more manageable number for us to start our interview process. In our programs, so our revolving loan fund, community reinvestment, and our outreach and education programs will be starting. And I'll go into the loan fund. We still have the 17 applications that were received. 3 of those applications are right now in the underwriting phase, and we do expect more applications of the 17 to be going into underwriting very shortly. For the community reinvestment update, the NOFA was released on March 14th as scheduled. We held 2 live information webinars. We had over 19 folks attend. I think we had 19 that attended. Those information sessions were held on March 18th and March 21st. Right now, we also held a question and answer. So after the webinar, if folks had questions that they wanted to ask, they could send those questions into us up until March 25th. And then we returned the responses to those questions to all those folks that have expressed interest in becoming grant makers with us for 2024. The application period is underway, so folks have a questionnaire. They have until April 9th, 11:59 to submit those questionnaires. We will immediately begin reviewing those questionnaires on April 10th. We're giving ourselves between April 10th through the 14th. We don't know how many we're going to receive, so we'll give ourselves a few days to review all of the questionnaires that come in. And we do expect to have a special meeting. We tentatively scheduled it for the 17th. We may be able to do it, to hold the meeting sooner, or we may have to hold it 1 or 2 days later, depending on what we get on April 9th. So, but we will have a special meeting in April, and we will let you all know that date as soon as we are able to convey that information to you. For our community collaboration, I will be meeting with some folks regarding access to childcare. I also have a follow-up meeting with some folks regarding our crisis housing collaboration, and then we will also be following up with state agency partners and community leaders with food insecurity and reentry. So our first meeting will be on the access to childcare. I hope to be able to provide recommendations for funding at our special meeting in April for the access to childcare piece of our community collaboration. We are beginning our outreach and education for pre-lottery. We do expect that there will be a lottery this summer, possibly in July. And so we are now going out with CohnReznick and with Oaksterdam University to begin the cannabis. So we have a cannabis business pre-lottery and workforce training information session. And I'll give you a little bit more detail on that. So our cannabis lottery and workforce training information sessions on April 4th, on Thursday, we will be kicking off these information sessions in New Haven at the Q House on Dixwell Avenue. Dale Sky Jones from Oaksterdam University will be on hand with us from 6 to 8, and we will be educating the public on the offerings that we have for them, whether it be to apply for a license or to explore ideas for careers in cannabis. So for our cannabis pre-licensing information, we're offering a pre-lottery boot camp. These are live Zoom classes. They're designed to help individuals understand the commitment and the risk in owning a cannabis business. In addition to this boot camp, we will be holding live webinars with CohnReznick to give people the information on the criteria for qualifying as a social equity applicant. So residency, ownership, and income. Our boot camp will be held once a week for 5 weeks. It'll be a pretty intense class. In addition to offering the Zoom, we will also have in-person cohorts available for those folks that might need to sit with people and to go through these Zoom classes with a coach. And in addition to the boot camp, once the boot camp is over, those folks that finish and want to have a little bit of coaching, we will offer 1 hour of coaching to those individuals that may be interested in owning a cannabis business prior, again, to the lottery. As far as our workforce training offerings at this time, we are going to be offering an entry-level track. And these are it's a foundational cannabis one-on-one. And it's really pretty much just entry-level frontline worker information. It goes over the Connecticut laws, regulations, supply chain considerations, more information about, the Connecticut cannabis industry. And it will just serve as kind of an opportunity for people to understand what types of jobs and what the regulations and the laws are. So, and then we will offer a management track for those folks who may want to get into the management aspect of cannabis. So it is sort of it's a combination of the entry level and then more information on cannabis business management. Each of these tracks will offer a certification. So people will walk away with a certification they can actually take to companies that they may be interested in applying to. And they will have, like I said, a really good, solid baseline information on cannabis careers, and how the cannabis industry is working in Connecticut. For those people that complete the management track, they will have the option of going into the pre-accelerator boot camp to learn more about starting a business, owning a business, and running a cannabis business in Connecticut. And again, we will offer in-person cohorts, and we will offer some coaching to those folks as well that may have some additional questions after the courses are over. As far as our outreach is concerned, we are continuing community conversation. It is our intention to hold a conversation in all 36 DIA communities. So we have selected trusted messengers, and we'll be holding conversations in New London, Norwalk, and Stanford over the next couple of weeks. Social Equity Council will have a kickoff for a series of listening sessions. So on April 11th, approved social equity applicants are invited to join members of the Social Equity Council to express their experience and their concerns about their position, their company, the process, whatever they would like to express to the council. And staff will be on hand to answer questions that people may have and to also listen. So we really do look forward to seeing folks in person. And there will be I believe there is a Zoom option for the social equity applicants that are not able to apply, to attend in person, and also for council members. We approve the following social equity plans: Bud's Goods, Bud Our Holding 3, Shangri-La, Cannabis Connection, Cannabis Contract Manufacturing, The Harvest. And just so folks understand that the approved social equity plans are part of the final licensing process. So each cannabis company must submit to the council a workforce development plan and a social equity plan in order to be fully licensed. The goals in April, we will be conducting, I'm confident that we'll be conducting our program manager for workforce development interviews, making grant manager recommendations. Again, tentatively, we have a meeting scheduled for the 17th. We may need to change that up or down by a day or so. Community conversations will be held in Stamford, New London, and Norwalk, as I just mentioned, and we will continue to meet with partners to make recommendations and funding for our community collaboration grants. And this month, we will be meeting with folks for access to childcare, housing, and food insecurities. And we will also be finishing up the outreach materials that will be offered to individuals related to social equity criteria and our pre-lottery education series. So we do expect to kick off the series in May. So during the month of April, we are finalizing, we are outreaching, and we are beginning to register folks for these offerings. Committee meetings for the month of April: Finance is scheduled to meet April 9th, Outreach on the 12th, Reinvestment on the 17th, Policy and Governance on the 18th, Personnel Committee on the 24th, and again, the special meeting to be determined. And we're still on Facebook. Lots of information on Facebook. We try to post as much as we can. So please follow us, look at the updates. We also have folks that tag us on some of our pilot reinvestment grants. So all of the activities that those folks are participating in that were funded by our dollars are posted on our Facebook. So it's really good to see the updates and the programs that are happening in the community as a result of our investment. And that is it for me. If anyone has any questions, happy to answer. I think that's a good thing.
I don't see any questions or comments being asked. Thank you, Executive Director Clay.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd also note that Councilwoman Kelly Marie Valeries has joined us and would now like to move on to our committee reports and recommendations. Committee Chair Shirley, do we have a report of recommendations from the Policy and Government Committee?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Policy Committee met. After approval of minutes, we went over legislative updates with Christina Diamond. She raised concerns about certain proposed changes to the legislation, specifically changes that allow social equity applicant to enter into agreement with hemp farmers that would allow cultivation outside of a DIA. We discussed potential impact of that change on DIAs and on the social equity program in general. We did not vote to bring a motion to the full council for its approval at this time. So that was our discussion.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the council? Thank you, Mr. Shirley, Councilman Shirley, and the members of the Policy and Governance Committee. At this time, I'd like to move now to Committee Chair Naeem. Would you also have a report for the Reinvestment Workforce Committee?
It's just a quick update. So, after our last meeting, we did approve sort of the plan that is in place right now, soliciting the proposals from grant makers. We're looking initially at April 17th, 2 back-to-back meetings, one first with the Reinvestment Committee and then right after with the full council. My recommendation was to either have just the full council meeting, since it doesn't seem like there's necessarily, room for any changes that we might want to address or questions that we have as reinvestment alone. And if we feel like we need to have a conversation as a reinvestment committee on what comes out, to schedule that a little bit ahead of time so that there's room to follow up on any outstanding questions. So I know there were some scheduling conflicts as well, so we're looking to clear that up and hopefully in the next week or so have updated calendar invites for either or both meetings.
Okay. I believe Councilman Jefferson.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, I fully endorse the recommendation made by the committee chair, Laheed Ojo.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Seeing no further hands. Thank you, Committee Chair Naeem, for that and the recommendations from the committee and all the work that you've done. At this time, I'd like to move now to Committee Chair Comer. Do we have a report for the Finance Committee?
Yes. Good morning, council colleagues, and through you, Mr. Chair. As Director Clay mentioned, Finance Committee will meet on April 9th, at which time the March financials will be reviewed. That said, Jennifer Stevens put together the monthly expense report, so I will share the February summary with this group. During the month of February, the SEC's expenditures were $131,000 and change. Total year-to-date expenditures were $1.325 million. There's a remaining budget balance of $4.75 million, which includes a little over $835,000 in community reinvestment workforce development line, $400,000 in the outreach and community conversations line, and $261,700 in the marketing branding line. Given the executive director's notes during a report regarding statewide branding, upcoming outreach with Oaksterdam and Cohn-Resnick and workforce training, I asked that at the Finance Committee meeting, she provide context on how the existing marketing line might be repurposed, as well as the proposed cost for the planned activities that she mentioned. Other lines with large balances include salary and fringe due to the vacant positions. And as a reminder, this is as of the end of February, so these numbers will be updated at next week's committee meeting. And so what I guess I'll just close with, while it's been communicated previously that unspent funds will not be rescinded and will remain in the SEC designated account, it's really not optimal to establish a budget that goes unspent, particularly when we faced a similar situation last year. So since we're now in the last quarter of the fiscal year, I'm concerned that we won't expend all of these dollars by June 30th. That concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions.
I don't see any questions. Thank you, Chairwoman. There are no comments, questions. Thank you for that and the team for your insight. And I would recommend the council members think about that in terms of, looking at how we come back together and figure out, along with the executive director, the direction to make sure those funds are expended. At this time, I'd like to move to Committee Chair Gordon. Do we have a report of recommendations from the Outreach Committee?
Hi, good morning, everyone. We meet next week, but I just wanted to flag for everyone that the Outreach Committee, in collaboration with Councilwoman Comer, we are hosting an event, a meeting for social equity applicants on April 11th to hear from them about a number of things, pending litigation, how the process has been working. I think we want to definitely create a space for the already approved social equity applicants to give us their feedback on what has worked, what hasn't worked, as we're about to open a brand new lottery process in the summer. As Executive Director Clay said, I think it's we really need to know from the folks who have already gone through the process what they have found successful and if there's anything we need to tweak moving forward. I think Christina Diamond has the exact information. I know every council member should have received that email. We really, really we would love to have a really good representation from the council, so the social equity applicants can feel like we're listening to them. It does require a registration, and that information will go out. I'm not sure how it's available public. I think the folks who are social equity applicants who are already approved should have gotten an email to register. And as I said, we're eager to hear from those applicants or those who are already approved. And I think it'll be a good process. It's not to change anything, to hold up any processes. We just think, as we think about the summer and new lottery process opening, we want to make sure that if there's anything that needs to be changed, we're aware of it well ahead of time.
Great. Executive Director Clay, you had a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that invitations have been sent out to social equity applicants, and the information is also posted on our website and posted on our Facebook page. And we are starting to get RSVPs already.
Any other further questions, comments?
Councilwoman Comer?
Thank you to you, both chairs. Just wanted to acknowledge that this was the outgrowth of hearing from some social equity applicants and their desire to sort of have some FaceTime with the council and the SEC staff. So I just wanted to make sure that I gave credit where credit was due, and it really was the result of hearing from the SEAs. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Comer. Councilwoman Gordon, anything further?
Nope, we meet April 8th, I believe, is our next, no, I think April 5th, I think is our next meeting, I think so. Christina, you could correct me if I'm wrong. So we'll have a report at the next meeting.
April 12th is the next outreach meeting.
I was very wrong.
April 12th.
All right.
It is set in ink on the calendar. Thank you, Committee Chair Gordon and the Outreach Committee in its entirety. Personnel Committee Chair Jefferson, do you have a report of recommendations?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. The committee asked that we create letters of expectations for the chair and for the executive director. I have sent to the members of the committee sample letters, draft letters, I should say, for their perusal, as well as duties, recommended or proposed duties for the personnel committee. That will be discussed at our next meeting. I guess we have it listed as April 24th, and we should hopefully take some action and have a report ready for the May meeting of the full council. That is my report, Mr. Chair.
Great, thank you. Comments, questions? Thank you, and the members of the Personnel Committee. At this time, I think we'll look finally for the good of the order. Is there any new business updates or comments that we missed? Hearing and seeing none, I would thus move for adjournment or ask for a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
Second.
And any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Abstain. We are so adjourned at a record time of 10:41. Thank you all.